Hey guys, my name is Third Eye and today we'll be taking a look at every single project the Michael Jackson estate has released under his name over the past decade. But before we go any further, make sure you subscribe to my channel if you like my videos, and if you have any idea for a future video about music, comment it down below. Well, the MJ estate has released loads of projects under the Kingofpop's name since the artist's late death in June 2009. Some of them respectful to his legacy and persona, and some incredibly disrespectful for numerous reasons. And being aware that the last 2 years have been sort of a break for the estate and that there's new projects coming on the way, I decided it would be a fitting moment to take a retrospective look at all the work worth a decade. Before starting, I want to clear up one thing. It's true that having to maintain the memory of the biggest artist in history is, in fact, a huge responsibility and a very hard thing to do. I always have that in mind when criticizing their work, but for some projects, it's clear to see that they did not try their best. I've already talked about those I consider their worst mistakes in 2 videos, but this time I'll list every single project and give my opinion on it. The first Michael Jackson project to be released posthumously would be a documentary, only 4 months after Mike's death, on the 28th of October 2009. The documentary would include new footage of the essays Michael did for what would be his final tour, Thisisit, which is also the name of this documentary. Tragically, MJ would pass away before being able to perform, so this footage was quickly edited and put together for this documentary, and released worldwide on cinemas along a soundtrack album with the same name, which included Michael's greatest hits, a few unreleased demos, and a new unreleased song with a music video, I Never Heard, renamed to Thisisit to match with the documentary and album. Well, even though all this stuff was released extremely quick, I mean just 4 months after the artist's passing, which gives us bad signs of exploitation, I gotta admit that the movie and the soundtrack album are both really great. The movie is really great in my opinion. It shows how enthusiastic and passionate Michael was about touring again, and how much effort he put into the essays for his fans to love his final performances. And to see him sing his hits, dance and have fun on stage is beautiful. It's a great way of remembering what a great entertainer he was. The soundtrack album is fine. I mean, releasing an album with only new unreleased material that quickly would have been a rush in my opinion, which would have resulted into a big mess. So releasing an album with his greatest hits is fine. Plus the demos are really interesting, and the song I Never Heard and his music video are absolutely amazing. That song was a great choice. It's one of my favorites of all time. Now, that's just my opinion, but at the time, the fans at the Jackson family had other things to say about Thisisit. The Jackson family was totally against the publishing of this documentary. His siblings tried to summon to court in order to stop the negotiations between Heyyyy Live, the promoter of Thisisit, and Sony, but they failed. LaToya Jackson, his sister, claimed that the movie should not be published because her brother hadn't shown his true potential and talent during the essays. She even said the imagery was degrading, and Joseph Jackson, his father, said, "This is kinda crazy, that they were using an MJ imposter for some takes in the documentary." This last statement was declared false, and the other attempts to take the documentary down failed. Now, another controversy surrounding this documentary is that right after MJ's death, some testimonies declared that Michael had been mistreated and put under a lot of pressure by Heyyyy Live during the essays. Even though Heyyyy referred to all these rumors as false, the fans released a protesting campaign called This Is Not Him, which protested against the movie and the way Heyyyy Live had treated Michael. Now, what I have to say about all this is that I'm not really sure. It might be true that Michael got mistreated during the essays, but if that's the case, it's not really reflected on the documentary at all. Actually, the documentary shows Michael being comfortable and happy on stage, which is why I don't really know what to think. At the end of the day, these are all still rumors, so the documentary and soundtrack album are approved in my opinion. Moving on to the next year, 2010, we got 3 projects released during this period, one of them being Michael Jackson's Vision, a box set with 3 DVDs containing all 41 Michael Jackson music videos, plus a new one for the song One More Chance. These music videos sum up to 4 hours of content, and they were set to be remastered in 4K. Well, this product is kind of a big mess. There's glitches, censored scenes, the box set is misfabricated as it says it's only Blu-rays when it's actually DVDs, and the quality is definitely not 4K. It's similar to the one available on YouTube, so they did not remaster anything. This project is just a big shame. It had loads of potential, but the estate did not take their time for it. It was totally a rush to make money. Not approved. Another MJ project released in 2010 would be the Michael Jackson Experience, a 3D video game available on several consoles like PlayStation, Xbox and Wii. The gameplay of this is not dissimilar to the one of games like Just Dance, where you have to dance along the characters you see on screen, but here it's all about Michael, which is just such a wonderful idea. This shows the true potential of MJ's estate, when they do put loads of effort into their projects. Who hasn't wanted to dance like Michael and learn his choreographies at some point? Well, this video game is our perfect chance, and the delivering is flawless in my opinion. There's the choreographies for every single MJ classic, all the outfits are represented the right way, the environments also fit with their respective music videos, and there's new choreographies for songs without music videos, like Money, The Girl Is Mine, or I Just Can't Stop Loving You, plus even 2 unreleased cuts, Streetwalker and Sunset Driver. Yo, there's even zombies dancing with Michael Jackson in Thriller, there's the bunny dancing with Michael in Speed Demon, and there's Ghosts with Michael in Ghosts. What else could you ask for? Come on, this project was definitely awesome. Approved. Well, it's a big shame that this project got completely eclipsed by the biggest mistake from the MJ estate, the disastrous first posthumous album from December 2010, Michael. It contains 10 new unreleased tracks, 3 of them being fake, sung by an impersonator called Jason Malachi, these being Keep Your Head Up, Monster and Breaking News. Look, I've already expressed my opinion on this case. It's obviously fucking shameless that they decided to put this together, but the thing that pisses me off the most is that when they got denounced by a fan in 2014, they claimed that they had received those tracks by the Casio family and they were not responsible for them. Look, hear me out. It's true that they did not make them, but they bought them and decided to include them on the album. They are the ones responsible for what they include on the record, not the Casio family. For me, it's even more shameless that they replied this way, as if that shitty excuse was valid. Finally, they were forced to admit in 2018 that these songs were fake. Okay, now putting these songs aside, what about the rest of the record? Well, actually, there were gonna be 3 more fake songs, and the other 7 tracks are kinda whack as well. Hollywood Tonight was mixed as shit, and even censored in some parts. The new mixing of Behind the Mask is also not my thing as well, and the other tracks were barely remastered. The only remaster I find quite good is for the song I Like the Way You Love Me. That one was a good job. To sum up, I'm just kinda shook at this album. How is the estate able to put together such respectful projects and then some bullshit like this? It's incredible. Not fucking approved. Now, the next year, 2011, would be fully focused on Michael Jackson's Immortal, a worldwide tour promoted by the Cirque du Soleil, accompanied by a remix album with the same name. Now, talking about the performances, I have to admit that they are really great. They are extremely colorful and original, lots of choreographies, lots of costumes, lots of references to MJ's legacy, lots of acrobacies. It is really awesome. Especially because it paints a new image and vibe to MJ's music, one we were definitely not used to at that time, and the remix album is okay. I mean, it's not my thing, but I have to admit that the production on it is really complex, so they definitely took their time on it. It was not a rush, and actually some tracks like the mashups are pretty enjoyable. That part is really good. Now, I'm not really sure if MJ would have liked this, but he did approve loads of remixes for his 1997 album Blood on the Dance Floor, so I think it would have been fine for him. Approved. Next up, we got the 25th anniversary celebration of MJ's 7th studio album, Bad, released in May 2012. It followed the series of the 25th anniversary physical copies. Thriller had been the first one in 2008. Well, this physical copy is pretty complete, you could say. Literally everything you can think about from the MJ Bad era is included in here. Everything. Let's go over it in order. There's the original 11-track album remastered. There's a bonus disc with several unreleased demos from the era, like Al Capone, Streetwalker or Abortion Papers. Also the French and Spanish versions of I Just Can't Stop Loving You, and 3 additional remixes of the original songs. There's a DVD with the entire MJ performance in the Wembley Stadium in London, performed on July 1988, which is considered one of his best of all time, reason why they included it here, and in a good quality I might add, and a 2-hour long documentary about Bad, with the intervention of the entire MJ crew that worked on the album. And then we also get a booklet with some unseen photos, and a poster. Holy shit, this is so much material. This album was a great example of how to please the fans correctly. First of all, the new unreleased demos are great, and I'm glad they were not remixed. They were released just as Michael left them. Then listening to the fans and including an entire concert the fandom considered his best and in a good quality is such a wonderful idea. And the documentary, holy shit, it's one of the best posthumous documentaries I've ever seen. I don't want to say much about it because I'll probably review it in the future, but I'll just say it mentions every single aspect from the Bad era in sessions, and that it's a great tribute to the King of Pop. The imagery and posters accompanying all these discs is also pretty sweet and a nice compliment. This one is one of the best projects the estate has released. Period. Definitely approved. Next up we got Michael Jackson's One from 2013, which is another worldwide tour promoted by the Cirque du Soleil, so it serves as a sequel to the Immortal World Tour. The performances are similar, really colorful, with loads of dances, acrobacies, references to Michael, but renewed for every song, plus it's got a bigger variety of songs than the previous tour. The only problem here is that the soundtrack for the tour was not officially released, unlike the Immortal one, which is kind of a shame because many fans say it's better than the other one and really original. It's pretty weird to me that they didn't publish this one. Anyways, the tour is still approved for me. And now we've arrived to my favorite project from them all, MJ's second posthumous album, Xscape, released in May 2014. This album contained 8 brand new unreleased tracks, mixed by loads of different producers like John McClain and Rodney Jerkins. The production that shines in tracks like Do You Know Where Your Children Are is absolutely amazing. There's even a guitar solo in that one. And the song's topics are extremely dared, which is exactly the opposite to Michael, where they censored him. The deluxe edition of the cut includes the original demos of each track, which is a great idea, as we also get this raw material to please the OG fans. A remix of Love Never Felt So Good with Justin Timberlake, a great election as well, given that they had known and met each other in the past, plus it's a great idea in order to share MJ's music to the new generation, and another documentary. This one is just a simple conversation between the producers about their experience remastering the chosen tracks. It's not really as great as the one released for Bad 25, but it's still interesting. I love this entire project as a whole. It worked really well for me. Approved. The year 2015 would be sort of a small break for the estate, and at the beginning of 2016 they will return with the 35th anniversary edition of Michael Jackson's Off the Wall from 1979. This physical copy would be a bit less complete than the Bad 25 one, I should say, but it's still pretty big. It contains a disc with the original tracks remastered, a booklet with some photos, and another disc with another documentary, not dissimilar to the one for Bad 25, with old interviews and the intervention of the MJ team once more. Unlike Bad 25, there's no new unreleased cuts, even though this era does have some, and no recorded performances, but that is fine because MJ didn't really perform that much at the time. The documentary is, again, pretty great and interesting, and even though there's not much material, it's still approved for me. And at the end of 2016, the Dangerous 25 celebration would also take place. But what surprised loads of fans is that unlike Bad 25, Thriller 25 or Off the Wall 35, it would not be celebrated with a physical copy. It would just be an online celebration, and that's exactly what it was. The audios and music videos of the songs were released and a hashtag was created. That's it, that's literally it. Do I even need to say that this is trash? Literally, after having made such wonderful copies for his past albums, they let us down with a stupid hashtag? I don't know what the estate was thinking, but not approved. Now it's turn for the year 2017, where all 3 Michael Jackson projects released would be related to Halloween and Thriller, one of them being Michael Jackson's Halloween, a 70-minute long television special that premiered on the television broadcast CBS. Look, I won't even sum up the plot because I would spend 10 hours talking. I'll just say that it's a random ass animation with a bunch of characters that have to fight an evil villain in a mansion that has nothing to do with Michael. except for a performance at the end where he appears and sings out of nowhere. Look, the story and animation ain't really it in my opinion, especially the last one. I just feel like this ain't really fluid. The estate could have done something better. But what I have to say about it is that Michael probably would have liked it despite these flaws I've mentioned. He loved all childlike activities and even wanted to release an album of children's music after Thisisit, so he would have probably approved a project like this. Even though I don't like it, I gotta approve it because of this. Now, another project related to Halloween from this year would be the remastering of Thriller in 3D, which premiered in the Venice Film Festival and appeared on cinemas for 1 week. Look, I have to admit that remastering such an iconic short film like Thriller in a good quality and even in 3D is a great idea, but the critics I've read from people who have seen it are nowhere near positive. It's been described as mediocre, lazy and annoying, which could be. I mean, I've not seen it so I can't judge, but the problem here is, why the heck do they publish it on cinemas and then it disappears? They did not publish it on Blu-ray, so the remaster could just be seen by those who went to the Venice Festival premiere, but not by anyone else, and I just don't understand why. For this and for the bad reception, I won't approve it. And finally, we've got the Scream album left, which I don't even want to talk about at this point. You know what, I was actually there when this album was released on the 29th of September 2017. At that time, I was 12 years old, and my best friend came up to me and told me the great news. Later on that day, he went to my house for a sleepover, and we both listened to the new album. You cannot fucking imagine how disappointed we felt after seeing that it was another compilation. Literally, we felt so triggered. Another compilation? Look, there's millions of these, we don't even need another one. And having released an album like Xscape, you can't expect us not to be thirsty for new music after so many years without new material. Not approved. Next up, for the year 2018, we got what I consider one of the best projects by the MJ estate. I'm talking about the On The Wall exhibition that premiered at the London's National Portrait Gallery in June. This exhibition brought hundreds of contemporary artists together to exhibit their artworks dedicated to the King of Pop. It had that much success that it also traveled to 3 big European locations: Paris from France, Bonn from Germany, and Espoo from Finland. Look, I've got no words to describe how beautiful this idea is. Bringing so many paintings of MJ together and exhibiting them is a wonderful way of honoring an artist's memory. But it's a shame that it couldn't travel to other cities outside of Europe, as Michael definitely has fans all over the world. Anyways, this project blows me away of how beautiful it is. Definitely approved. And at the end of June, we would get another surprise by the estate, but not for the good, for the bad, so much that it would cause a great controversy, eclipsing what the great On The Wall exposition had been. I'm referring to the Drake and MJ collaboration titled Don't Matter To Me. Look, as I stated in this video, I still don't consider it a bad idea to get MJ to collab with current artists. That way his legacy can live throughout the new generations. They had done that with Justin Timberlake, which had been amazing, and Drake had already done something similar in the past with another deceased artist, Heyyyy, and their collaboration, enough said, was great and really respectful. Additionally, Drake is also a huge MJ fan, so at that time I doubted that anything could go wrong until I heard the final cut when Drake's Scorpion came out. Drake, listen, there's a bit of Michael Jackson in that fucking autotune, dude. How could you? How? How could you let this be? How could you let some studio wizard totally ruin MJ's voice and talent with autotune and let him get away with it? Drake is fucking shameless. I can't understand how he would play such a respectful tribute to Heyyyy, but not to MJ. Not fucking approved. Since then, I've not even heard Drake's music again. The last MJ project for 2018 would be in August for his 60th birthday. Usually every year a celebration of Michael's birthday is hosted in Las Vegas, but this time they rebranded it to the Michael Jackson Diamond Celebration. This time the party was way bigger. The DJ Mark Ronson was invited to play, and the rapper Usher was also invited to perform. Additionally, Mark Ronson released a mashup in collaboration with the estate called Diamonds Are Invincible. Well, I obviously couldn't attend to the party, but from the snippets I saw uploaded to MJ's channel, it looked kinda fun. Plus, I like the Mark Ronson mashup very much. Approved. Now, the next 2 years, 2019 and 2020, would barely contain any new projects. First of all, because MJ's image was severely damaged by the Leaving Neverland documentary. at least temporarily, because I believe since then he's been recovering pretty well, and of course in 2020 the pandemic that has slowed down any current project by the estate. Therefore, the only projects were This Is It 10th anniversary box set and the History 25 celebration. Let's start with the This Is It 10th anniversary box set, which is, let's just call it a big mess. First of all, actually nothing to celebrate. Estate, nothing. Why is this being celebrated? The This Is It concerts that were not possible due to Michael's death are, for most people, one of the reasons Michael overdosed and passed away. It's definitely one of the reasons Michael is gone, so why are you celebrating it? Second of all, this is the biggest cash grab I've ever seen in my life. Let's go over the content. Some vinyls of his greatest hits, which probably every fan has at this point, a 60-page booklet with images of the essays, a Blu-ray of the movie with the same poor 3D remaster as the Thriller one, a copy of a ticket for the OG This Is It concert, totally useless by the way as it's not original, and a LED light panel on the box set that vibes along with the MJ music you play. Or something. And the price is just a fucking joke, man. $479 or 539 euros. Shit's a joke. No one's gonna buy this. Why would we? Loads of fans already have the material available in here. Not approved. And the History 25 celebration was another joke as well. Remember Dangerous 25? Well, shit's the same. An online celebration, another stupid hashtag, and some ridiculous merch. What a wasted opportunity, and what a way of letting the fandom down, really. Not approved. Well, I guess we're done. As you could see, these last projects were whack, and I'm not really sure what the estate was thinking with these last two. But they did nothing but bad, even in such rough times after the documentary and during the pandemic. At least there are several MJ projects coming on the way, many of which have already been announced. If y'all want me to make a video going over them, let me know in the comments. Having said this, until next week, bye, see you around.